pollution. And there's a lot of things that ocean pollution is about. It's about animals and the trash and how it affects our water and what we can do to help. So to get to know what we're doing, we're gonna explain the levels of the sea.
For this first example, I made this little example of water. So I don't know if you can see it really well, but basically you can just make it out of water, food coloring, vegetable oil. So it shows the zones. So you can see this really light color up here. This is called the sunlit zone. And then like the in-between is the twilight zone. And then like this really dark part is called the midnight zone. So you can see that on our board here with the different levels of blue. We have like different kind of trash. We have animals kind of floating around. You can kind of see them. You can see like plastic bags. You can see the plastic rings, styrofoam cups, cigarette butts, which we'll all get to that later.
So some of the animals that get affected by ocean pollution, if you look in your brochure, are things like dolphins, who are very, very, very smart animals. So they're not going to go have a piece of plastic as a meal, but they do get plastic from the food that they eat. The fish that they eat have eaten plastic, and then they get sick from those. Also, things like turtles. Turtles can eat plastic, of course, but they also get stuck in plastic rings. And the plastic rings get stuck around their bodies, and it makes them not be able to grow their shell correctly. So it gets stuck, and then it either gets stuck around their neck and they can't breathe, or it gets stuck around their shell, which causes difficulties when they're growing up. Animals like seahorses, they don't swim very fast. So whenever there's oil in the ocean, or there's trash in the ocean, they get stuck and they can't swim very fast, so then they die. And they need a lot of oxygen, and whenever they get stuck in areas called dead zones, they can't swim out of them because they get stuck. And the dead zones are caused by pollution. Also, things like seabirds, they go along the surface and they scoop up plastic in their mouth and they swallow it, not thinking it's not food. So they end up getting sick from eating a lot of plastic. And also things like seals, baby seals can eat a lot of plastic, of course. They also get tangled in plastic bags, and they get tangled in plastic, and they get tangled in fishing nets, and they get tangled in things that shouldn't be in the ocean. Little tiny fish and big fish and all different types of fish that live in the ocean, they can get stuck in dead zones too, and they can get stuck in places that don't have oxygen, and they need oxygen to live.
So as she mentioned a couple times that these animals will think that it is real food, and so they'll mistake it and it's actually plastic and they'll eat it. So I have a little test for you. So looking at both of these apples, which one do you think is the fake one and which do you think is the real one? So if you guess correctly, this one is going to be the real one and this one's the fake one. Now it's really hard to guess which one is it, right? So these animals that live in the ocean, or seabirds, don't have the ability to judge whether it's plastic or whether it's real, just as us humans would.
So in this middle part of your brochure, we have a thing called How Long Until It's Gone. And each different thing takes different times to decompose. Cardboard and styrofoam, they are more natural based, so they don't take very long to decompose. Like if you put a piece of paper in water, it's gonna start to break apart. That's decomposing. That's it becoming part of the water, and the water is dissolving it. But things like plastic bottles, plastic bags, tin cans, glass, and the soda rings, those are all artificial and fake products, so they're not going to decompose for a really, really long time. So they get stuck, and the chemicals that were used to make it get into the water. And then that's also bad for the animals and the fish.
So lastly, that we want to present to you guys these 3 little activities that you guys can do. So we have a little turtle connect the dot, or we have this other cute little turtle connect the dot, and then a seahorse coloring page. So if you guys want to pick one of those up, feel free to. All right, and we hoped you guys learned something from this video. We know there's things that you can do to help with skipping plastic straws at dinner time, or doing reusable bags when your mom goes to the grocery store or anything. So feel free to use those tips, and thanks for listening, guys.
Thanks.